The first thing the town noticed was that she did not cry when the train left. Steam roared, iron screamed, and the black snake of cars slid away toward the mountains, carrying every familiar face she had crossed an ocean with. Women sobbed on the platform. Men cursed the dust. The preacher wiped his brow and pretended not to stare. But the Chinese bride stood still, hands folded, eyes dry, as if her tears had been burned away somewhere between Guangdong and this hard, sun-cracked place called Red Willow. Someone laughed. Someone else spat. "No one sent for that one," a ranch hand muttered. "Must have been leftover cargo." She heard it. She understood more English than people guessed, enough to know that in Red Willow being unwanted was worse than being hated. Her name was Mei Lin, though the town would shorten it, twist it, or refuse it altogether. She wore a faded blue jacket stitched by her mother, its sleeves too thin for the high plains wind. In her pocket was a paper, marriage contract stamped in San Francisco and signed by a man she had never met. The ink was already smudging, like it knew the truth before she did. The wagon meant to collect her never came. By sunset, the platform was empty except for Mei Lin in the wind. She lifted her bundle and walked toward town, each step measured, controlled, proud in a way only desperation teaches. Doors closed as she passed. Curtains twitched. A group of boys followed her, daring each other to pull her braid. She kept walking. At the boarding house, the woman behind the counter looked her up and down as if weighing spoiled meat. "No Chinese," she said flatly. "I pay," Mei Lin replied, holding out coins she had counted 100 times on the ship. The woman shoved them back. I said no. Outside, the sky bled red. Mei Lin sat on the steps and waited, not knowing what for. Hunger gnawed. Fear whispered. She told herself she had survived worse. She had survived the crossing where men were thrown overboard like trash. She had survived the holding shed in California where women were inspected like horses. She could survive one night in Red Willow. That was when the little girl appeared. She couldn't have been more than 6. Dusty dress, scabbed knees, hair chopped short like someone had done it in a hurry. She stared at Mei Lin with open curiosity, not cruelty. In her arms was a rag doll missing one eye. "You waiting for someone?" the girl asked. Mei Lin shook her head. The girl climbed up beside her anyway, legs swinging. "Me too," she said, as if that settled something. "Papa's late again." They sat in silence until the stars came out sharp and cold. "What's your name?" the girl asked. "Mei Lin." "I'm Anna," she said. Anna's face was serious, hopeful in a way that hurt to look at. "My mama died," Anna said quickly, like she was afraid Mei Lin might run. "Papa says I gotta be strong, but I forget how sometimes. You look like you remember things." Before Mei Lin could answer, heavy boots approached. A man stepped into the lamplight, tall and broad, hat pulled low. His eyes flicked from Mei Lin to the girl, hard and assessing. "Anna," he said. "What did I tell you about talking to strangers?" Anna slid off the step. "She's not a stranger. She's Mei Lin." The man's jaw tightened. "Come on." As he took the girl's hand, Anna twisted back. "Papa," she said loud enough to carry. "No one wants her." The words hung in the air, ugly and true. The man looked at Mei Lin then, really looked. Saw the bundle, the dust on her shoes, the way she held herself like she was bracing for a blow. Something flickered behind his eyes. Not kindness, something heavier. "What's your business in Red Willow?" he asked. She hesitated, then handed him the paper. He read it, brow furrowing. "That man left town months ago," he said. "Owed money. Bad kind." Mei Lin nodded. She had guessed as much. The man exhaled through his nose. "Name's Jacob Hale," he said finally. "I've got a ranch 5 miles out. You can sleep in the barn tonight. Figure the rest in the morning." It wasn't an offer. It was a decision. That night Mei Lin lay in hay, staring at beams and spiders, listening to the lowing of cattle and the wind pressing against the boards. She expected fear to come. Instead, there was only exhaustion and the echo of a small voice asking to be loved forever. Morning came with chores and silence. Jacob worked without speaking, setting tasks with gestures. Mei Lin followed, learning the rhythm of the place. She cooked rice over a fire that night, adding dried vegetables she had saved like treasure. Jacob watched her eat, puzzled, then surprised himself by asking for a bowl. Anna hovered wide-eyed. When Mei Lin smiled at her, the girl beamed like the sun had chosen her. Word reached town fast. By the end of the week, men rode out to stare. Women whispered prayers and warnings. Someone nailed a sign to Jacob's fence one night. Slur spelled wrong but message clear. Jacob tore it down and burned it without a word. The sheriff came hat in hand. "You know what folks are saying," he said. Jacob stared him down. Folks always talk. She ain't legal, the sheriff pressed. Jacob's mouth tightened. She's human. Winter crept in early. Mei-Lin worked until her hands cracked and bled, then wrapped them and kept going. At night, Anna crawled into her pallet warm and trusting. Sometimes she asked about China. Sometimes she asked if Mei-Lin would leave. No, Mei-Lin said once, surprising herself with how certain it felt. Then the man Mei-Lin was supposed to marry came back. He rode in drunk, angry, and armed, demanding his property. The town gathered, hungry for spectacle. Jacob stood between him and the house, rifle steady. She's mine, the man slurred. Mei-Lin stepped forward before Jacob could stop her. Her voice shook, but it did not break. I choose, she said. Not you. The man laughed and raised his gun. The shot echoed like thunder. When the dust settled, the man lay bleeding in the street, alive but ruined. Jacob's hands trembled for a long time afterward. They tried to take Mei-Lin anyway. Papers, laws, threats. Anna screamed and clung to her leg. Mei-Lin knelt and held her, heart breaking open. I am not leaving, Mei-Lin said to the men. You will have to kill me. They did not. Courage confuses bullies. Spring came. So did change, slow and stubborn. Mei-Lin planted a garden that fed half the ranch. She taught Anna songs in 2 languages. Jacob learned to listen. One night, as rain drummed on the roof, Anna whispered again, softer this time, safer. You stayed. Mei-Lin kissed her hair. Forever, she said. And in a town that had decided her worth the moment she stepped off the train, that was the most shocking thing of all.